All right, real quick on JD Vance, because he was called the Bobcat on the so-called code speak, and we see the TRE, the tree, the Dallas Dart rail line and such, that hit a skid steer on the railroad, all right, on the train tracks. So let's get into the skid steer. The skid steer can tie into the on that ass crack when the dawn's coming out, that donkey, the dawn, and the donkey that is the ass, the donkey is a bad dawn who has the keys to the pit on one side, and then a bad den has the keys on the other. So the skid steer, that can tie to skid marks for the crapture. And then the skid steer is the drafting and the cars. And the drafting and the cars, the draft ties into your nom and the man on the back side. So that nom is coming within America, and those things. And that draft for that flight has been loaded up. And then that flight of beer, that flight of fear, and the beer Sheba, and those things are going to be poured as the vials and such are poured onto the earth. And we saw the vial for the Last Supper being served, and then the tray that being served for the Last Supper hit in Dallas that I saw on the social media or whatever I posted on. But the skid steer was on the trailer, that trail ear, and that T-rail for that Trump, for the railing for the blasphemies and the blasphemies and use and those things, and that rod of iron, and that rail for that line, and that line for those the lions, and the line for the world stage scripts, for that's a wrap and that cut. So the skid steer, that draft, that's for the Bud Light. The Bud Light, everybody took shots of that and got pretty hammered on the old 12-pack there. And they had the campfire going for the Coles and the Target. Those things that we've gone over in the past. But this draft is filling up. The flight of beer, the light, the F light, the 6 light, all those things are being loaded up. So the JD Vance connects to these things, and he was part of the military 2003 to 2007. That connects you to 23 on 9/11, which is coming up at this anniversary, and that takes us into 2027, and perhaps the 27 on the 9/11 as well, which is 2028. And then Trump has that 82 marker and those things. But and then you got Biden. You have 8/2 today with the bomb scare in Paris, and that would be a bomb and a nation and a scare. So that is on 8/2, and Biden's going to be 82 on 11/20, which is 15 days after the trial. And then the COVID count on the thing was 114 countries, so that would be that 14 days, and I connected that onto another video with the whatever, but that's the 5 days after, or 4 days, depending if you not include or include the day of Trump's trial for the sentencing, okay? But we could see these things for the Thanksgiving and the bomb in the nation, how these things can load up for that little rocket, and then the big rocket, and the Hanukkah for 24 and 25 Christmas Day 24 and 25, or I'm just say Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I don't know what I'm trying to do. Either way, guys. So that car, that that crow, Secret in them, Jeremy, been crowing at you for a long time. All right, but everybody's underground. The Bobcat, that steel, and that bobber for that hook, line, and sinker. All right, when it goes down, that lets you know when you got to strike. Well, That bobber's going down, buddy. And the J.D. Vance, the military, that is tied to the J.D. for John Don Trump, JDT. All right, and the T for the V. The V is the 22. And that 22 is the V for the alien, the illegal alien, and that sick bird. And that vet, that sick bird needs a vet. And that illegal, that bald eagle, that Bell D eagle, that Bell D eagle, the Trump, that eagle who went to trial. He needs your help. He needs your hell. Beep, beep. So, J.D. Vance has an Indian wife. That's an Indian bread. All right, that Indian bread's going to be broke for Thanksgiving. And the Indian bread being broke might be where J.D. Vance breaks off from Trump and does this, that, or the other, or he breaks off by calling for insurrection, breaks down when Trump loses, or however all these things go down for the 76 as the backstage opens up. We'll put them more together, but he's a character that has that beard. All right, and it was saying that Trump might not pick him because he doesn't like facial hair or whatever. Anyways, that was like a flip on things. That, like, whatever they say, it's like opposite kind of thing. So the beard, where he has the beard, the Abe Lincoln, the assassination, all those things are kind of tying into the stack on reality and how everything is coming and built on these days from before. Okay, so anyways, in Captain America, there's a scene on the trailer, right? And we just saw the skid steer, which is the Bobcat or whatever. That is taken for the Captain American trailer. He says something about he has to shave his facial hair, shave his mustache or whatever. Anyways, so that's tying into that J.D. Vance and that character on that side, and the characters on the scripts as far as the movies and the television that everyone receives, does a flip-flop or whatever, and there's 6 degrees of separation. So that's where you get the J.D. Vance. He was part of the military and the Bobcat and the skid steer, and then we connect this, that, and the other, and the Last Supper in the tray, and it hitting the trailer, and it's on the trailer. So this is where you put all the things together, who's been doing these things and whatever, like myself and the wife and whatever. But so this is where we could see the draft and where the people are rising up for the Venezuela election and these things, and calling out for the cage fight, and the cage fight between Zuckerberg and the cage fight between the president of this nation over here. It's just letting you know you live in a show. And then the Republican convention with the Red Hulk, the Hulkamania coming out, and that stuff was a show for the Red Hulk, for the Captain America, and all these things. And that's set on 2023 presidential thing and whatever, that it's all tied into the same things or whatever, or it's year 2023 about the president or whatever the thing is. But so either way, that's the degrees of separation. So the Bobcat and the skid steer, and the skid steer for the draft, all right, and the draft is for the nom, where you're going to drink that beer and you're going to be going because you're intoxicated by the shots of Babylon, that the mystery Babylon, America, that's in the Bible that tells you about. Mystery Babylon is whatever the nation they're going to be using at that time to gather into whatever they're doing. All right. So this may be a time where that positive, negative charge, there may be good things about this, bad things. Maybe good things about this, bad things, where you just might need to leave all of America. Because you might have Jesus, Satan, and then Lucifer. You want to go where Lucifer is, the light bearer, who has the light, who has access to heaven. Those types of things. And heaven is as a net, and then the He Avenue and stuff, that's for the sin on the New York, for that light he's shining and it's going dark, and that avenue, like a net, is for that Netanyahu coming to capture up men, and that net is for that heaven for the men who dwell on earth, where this reality, this is their heaven. They see this is whatever, but they can't partake in it. And they're going in paying $600 a month or more for a timeshare in heaven that they never get to use, because heaven's right here, right now. And hell is right here, right now. It's the bondage when you can't do anything. It's when you're living your life by Satan, by another man telling you how to live your life, when you need to go out and explore this world and see what's best for your own temple, because it may be good for him, it's not good for you, and vice versa. And you may not be 20 or 30 or whatever, and you lived 80 years ago, and you may not know anything about today, and you need to just keep your mouth shut. Those kinds of things. It's where like, well, you need to respect your elders. Well, no, it depends, because you need to respect the younger too. They don't want to respect the younger. They just want to shut the younger up. And when you shut the younger up, that's when you build up a nation. The respect. The Republicans. Packers, the Peters, the Satans. Builds their church, builds their nation. So, the J.D. Vance, the John Donne van, be living in the van down by the river, and that river's on those card games being passed out by the hands of time, the trump on that backside, and he has that trump card slid for that sleight of hand trick. He's always got that fucking card. Where'd he pull that one out? Like that Jervochich Eve dude, whatever, for the Eve and the money stuff for New Year's Eve or whatever. But it's all these things for the eyes and ears that have been watching and seeing how things have been said, and it's being flip-flopped and going into a real ass fucking projection. So the division is going to break apart for the garden to gather up his children. Alright, so I've been told to multiply by the sons of God. We've been doing this math, checking stuff out. Sometimes 2 times 1 equals 3. If you're talking about a physical thing, you got 2 of this and 1 of this, put them together, times it together. Or you got 2 times 1 time, then you got 2. So that's where you live in a altered state of reality, and where we got to come together, and they're just trying to teach it all in a linear fashion where we just think in one direction, and I'm developing ways to think all in whatever. So when I read or whatever, I'm reading all around everything and putting it all together, and I just go up and down and backwards and diagonal and whatever else, and I'm doing all this kind of thing all at once. I'm putting together the algorithms per se. And I've been given this gift, and I've shown in 2020, taken up into the high place per se, and then I've been having to figure out what I was given. And as I figured out what I was given, I've unlocked the matrix. So this bobcat, the cat, the feline, that feline that you're going to eat for being a slave, the capitalism, not understanding that mom's coming in, you don't have to go work out there anymore. You're going to work in here. You're going to work on yourself. That's where the detox comes. And the detox comes where you're working on yourself and you just can't do it. And temple blast all over. Oh, my money's all gone. Pastor's wrong. I took the mark. I'm going to hell anyways.